Guys, welcome to My Guy Reviews. Today, I have a special guest with me. It's My
who's
Guy
that?
Monkey.
Oh, it's me. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for coming back again for my show.
Oh, thank you very much.
I know.
Great to be here.
For some, I'm glad, right? It doesn't matter what show it is. You always try and guest on each one of them.
I am the guest again.
You are, yeah. So our format is we come up with a topic idea, pop culture related. One person goes away, does some research, and kind of talks about that topic. The other person comes in completely cold, and then we kind of talk about the thing. Could be anything pop culture related, and then we got a couple of segments to kind of end off the podcast with. So this week, are you ready for the new topic?
Yes.
Okay.
I know what it is already.
Okay. No, guess.
No, I don't know.
It's because I said that to you last week, right?
I have no idea.
Okay, so this week we're talking about a franchise, the 10th highest grossing franchise of all time, with over $5 billion grossed so far.
Okay, a franchise.
I'm going to name the directors because I know you have no idea. So the films have been directed by Rob Cohen, Justin Lin, James Wan, F. Gary, John Singleton. Any ideas?
No.
The films star a whole heap of casts from Ja Rule, Bow Wow, Ludacris, Tyrese Gibson, Michelle Rodriguez, Gal Gadot. She's in here as well. This is Eastwood's son, Scott Eastwood.
Okay.
Still nothing.
I don't know. Fast and Furious?
We're talking about the Fast and Furious franchise, yes.
Oh, no.
Because
Okay.
Hobbs and Shaw comes out this weekend, or is out by the time this podcast goes live. So I thought, let's look back at the franchise that made this film possible. So the franchise, which is the Fast and Furious franchise.
Okay, I can give you an overview right now, can't I?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, go on then. For the first one or for all of them?
First one was good. Then it went downhill for 4 or 5 movies.
Wow.
Then it came back.
Wow. So, okay. let's start with the 2001 The Fast. So this film was actually had the The's in. It's the first one that had The Fast and The Furious. Okay.
Yep.
This was directed by Rob Cohen. Now he did stuff like Dragonheart before this. Remember the Dragonheart?
Yes.
Sylvester Stallone's Daylight. You know, the one with the tunnel. Maybe you don't remember. But after that, he did stuff like Triple X.
Yeah.
He did some terrible films like Stealth, Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon, Alex Cross, The Boy Next Door, Hurricane Heist. Have you seen any of them? Must see the Mummy film. Yeah. Anyway, so what's the story, My Guy Monkey? I would like to know. For the first one.
God, dude, this. Oh, why did you pick Fast and Furious?
Because it's easy. They're all the same.
Yeah, they're all the same, right? I mean, isn't there an undercover cop?
Yep, Point Break.
And he's infiltrating a street racing gang.
Oh yes, yeah, illegal street racing. You're spot on.
I hope all the rest are the same because this is all I've got.
They are all the same. Though.
Good. And then he gets interconnected with them a bit. Fancies the girl.
Of course he does.
And then he ends up getting sympathy for the villains in the end.
That's it. That's exactly the story. So it was they had an idea of kind of doing Days of Thunder meets kind of Donnie Brasco. So have you seen Donnie Brasco?
No.
The Al Pacino star. So, but it's based on a true life story. Starring Johnny Depp. Al Pacino. Johnny Depp goes undercover and infiltrates the mafia, and he kind of infiltrates that, and he becomes one of them, and he just kind of spends his life infiltrating the mafia and documenting all the things that they're doing, all the way down to how to bring it down. Obviously, Days of Thunder is a movie about cars. So why not put that together? But what they didn't realize, what they didn't realize, there was a film called Point Break, starred Keanu Reeves, which was exactly the same plot line to this.
Wow.
So while they claimed it was two things that they came out with, it's actually more a Point Break.
They could have just remade Point Break. These days, they would just reboot Point Break. So
They do, yeah. So in each one of these films, I'm going to ask you, what were they stealing?
oh
So
no,
what were they stealing? 2001's commodity. What is the commodity in 2001?
were they stealing anything? I didn't know they were stealing
So at
anything.
the very start of the film,
A
the
car.
bad guys, where they steal something off a truck full of something.
Cars.
No, it's not like it. So in 2001, the hot commodity were like electronic goods, like DVD players.
Okay.
So they hijack a big lorry full of DVD players to
DVD.
steal. That's right.
Wow.
So that's
dated.
how they started. So 2001,
That's
you know, they've
dated.
set
You
the
can get a DVD player for a fiver
exactly.
now.
It's so cheap. But in terms of the story, you pretty much said it spot on, right? So Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, this kind of suits him because of the car and his name. He's basically the villain. He steals stuff for a living, and he does illegal street racing, and it's drag racing. It's not even fancied racing. They're just driving a straight line.
Yeah.
And then he, like you said, falls in love with the sister, and then starts to have sympathy for these thieves. Basically, they're a bunch of thieves. They steal stuff, and he's like, "No, what you guys are doing is good anyway. I'm gonna let you go." At the end of the film, instead of bringing him in, he gives him the car and says, "You go away, because even though you steal and you're a criminal, I think you're a good guy.
Yeah.
So here's the keys to my car, and you can go scot free. Bye." And that's the first film. And I did not like this one. I know you've just given it a great rating.
It was a great first movie. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made a sequel.
I didn't like it. I know loads of people love the whole franchise.
I don't like it.
I don't, but
I like it from later on. But we'll get there.
So the first one, if we go by our normal kind of scale thing, the first one for me personally is I wouldn't even bother. I didn't like it at all. Even if it is for the time, just didn't like it.
Okay.
But you loved it. You said that's fine. You can love the film.
I was never a fan of the Fast and Furious back in the day, but I think definitely watch this one on television because it's going to be on there.
Oh, it'll be definitely on a streaming service. It'll be on TV all the time.
Yeah, they show it. Just watch it if you want to when it's on.
To see where the whole kind of franchise started off.
I mean, it's a good solid first film, so it is worth watching.
You say that the racing is none. There isn't any legal racing really. It's just driving a straight line.
Yeah, it gets a lot bigger as the franchise goes on.
That's what I didn't like about it. Like people, look at these cars and they're so fast. That I just thought he drove in a straight line. I don't get it. Like, did I miss something?
Yeah, there wasn't much driving about it. True.
I think the first bit is the best bit. You know, when they steal and their car goes through the truck through the wheels. I think that's the only good bit in the film.
Yeah, that's it. That made the movie.
That's it. That's what people went to watch.
That's what people kept coming back. They've made 8 of them now. So
we'll get into that. Yeah.
There's a count.
There is a count. There is.
This is number 1.
This is number 1. Done. I didn't like it. You loved it. Said it's the best film ever.
Didn't love it. But it was better than the second one and the third one.
This is your 4-star. 4 out of 4. They followed this up with John Singleton directed. Do you know the title of this? It's the second film.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of the does and swap them for twos. So Too Fast, Too Furious. Now Vin Diesel didn't return for this film. He was doing XXX, and he kind of didn't like the story or whatever it was about this film. And so they got in Tyrese Gibson for the first time. Ludacris joined as well. Eva Mendes was in this film.
Right.
But what's the story of My Guy Monkey? And what were they trying to steal?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Let's guess that. In Undercover Cop again still?
He still is, yeah.
He's still going to infiltrate. And
he's still got to infiltrate, yeah.
Even though it's pretty obvious that he's not going to bring him in. I guess the stakes must be to do with this maybe some heist or whatever they're stealing. That's why he cares. Why he's still doing his job. I don't know. He still likes the girl.
Yes, but she's not in this one.
Oh yeah.
because Dominic Torero and all of them, all of those guys weren't in this one.
They abandoned it.
Yes.
Um, so he likes another girl?
He's found another girl. Yeah,
What's he
Eva
at?
Mendes joined this one.
Just rolls with whoever actress they can get in.
Exactly,
And
as he should do.
straight away. He's not desperate or nothing.
And this one's got the rapper Ludacris.
Yeah, I bet there's a scene where he's rapping.
No, there isn't. He's just the mechanic.
A big show. No, there's no.
No, he
show.
He doesn't rap. There is a big show, but he's not rapping in it.
Oh, okay. There is a show in it though. Good.
Yeah,
I remember something.
It's got to be show in this. Basically, you're right. So he's let Dominic Torero escape, and he's been reprimanded for that. But he's then again gone undercover again to bring down, this time around, an Argentinian drug lord.
Oh.
So basically, their cars are going to be filled with drugs, and they're going to be running from one place to the other.
Drug lord. That's a bump up from the last one stealing DVD players.
That's right. DVD's now into the world of drug lording.
Wow.
A drug cartel, should we say? Not just any old kind of lord. Drug cartel. He goes, I need to put up a crew. I need some people. So he enlists Tyrese Gibson, and Tyrese Gibson's doing like Devonshire Derby stuff. Anyway, and then those two have pretty much the same film as the last one. But this one, where they race, they actually take lefts and rights. They actually turn around.
Ooh.
The racing, I personally think, is better in this film.
Well, they bumped it up with the turning.
Yes.
That's
so the
crazy.
first film I did not like at all, because you just drive in a straight line. They did one heist. It's kind of boring for me. But this one, they were driving and they turned the car left and right. They took turns. It was brilliant. Well, I say brilliant.
Cool.
I bet all of the driving looks terrible because it's bad CGI.
It would be now. Yeah, going back.
But I mean, the director as well. They had John Singleton direct this one. So do you know much of John Singleton? You don't know anything.
You tell me. Let me know.
Boys in the Hood.
Okay,
he
yeah,
directed.
I've seen that. Yeah.
So that's a great film. He also did some terrible films as well, like Shaft 2000. But even after this, he did Four Brothers, which I really liked. Four Brothers. But then he sadly passed away, so he's not been called back to do any more of these films, and he can't do any more kind of things. But so they for this one, they obviously couldn't get back Vin Diesel and stuff. They chucked more money at it. They changed up the star cast, but they kept Paul Walker as the main lead, and they brought in Tyrese Gibson. And there's a bit at the end where I don't know if you remember this one much, but Ludacris is in kind of a car. They open up a garage and not hundreds, loads and loads of cars come out.
Right, yeah.
And they're to confuse the people because those two are going to run off, not run off, but escape with the drug money. I
remember that now, yeah, wow.
And they obviously swap cars because Ludacris and the girl, I think it's Suki, they get caught. Anyway, that big twisteroo thing. And it's basically that the drug cartel says to him, I need someone who can drive my money from here to here. And he sets them a task to go steal a car from a car lot and bring it back within a set period of time. And if they do that, he'll hire them to do this other job.
Just like Driver. Video game.
But actually, like as much as I don't like the first one, I think this one for me personally is a step up. I think only because the driving got better, and I mean, it's not a good film, but still, those things, the elements that I didn't like in the first film, I feel like they addressed and made them better for myself. So if the first one is watch free of charge on your streaming service, this would be the same. But actually, if somebody said, which would you recommend over the two? For me personally, I like this one better so far.
Nice.
Where would you put it?
For me, the problem with it was the sort of the attitude and the feel of it all. Like people were just going there for the car stuff. And if you like the car stuff, then obviously the Fast and Furious series gets a step up, like you say. But the story I think the first one was a bit more of a personal story. And it starts to become more and more just about the cars for the next few films. So it's okay if you like a bit of if you like the cars, it's fine. But I think it just put me off like the whole boy racer sort of. It was just more about cars and cars and cars all the time, and no longer about story. Yeah.
There is a story.
2 stars.
2 stars. Oh, you went from 4 to 2. Wow. so really disappointed you. So the next film is almost a whole new star cast again. Do you remember the title of the next film? Number 3.
3 Fast, 3.
No, it's not.
The Fast and the Furious 3?
No.
I can't remember.
It may have been called Fast and Furious 3 somewhere, but it's mainly known as the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Oh, yeah.
This is the one that they went into Tokyo for.
Did they? Tokyo?
Yeah.
Wow, they should put that in the title.
But also, this film acts as a prequel to the next films, like 4, 5, and I think 6. And after 6 is where this one would fit in the chronological order. But for Fast and Furious, we're just doing it in release order. So this is number 3. And this is the first time Justin Lin is directing these films. He then directs a whole bunch of these films, and he's still directing the last 2 as well. So that's why it's quite an important one. So this one, a whole new star cast. Do you remember anyone from this film? Lucas Black, Lil Bow Wow, or just Bow Wow?
Bow Wow. Nice.
So he's the rapper this time. So
we've had. Rap?
Yeah, of course he raps.
At last.
Not in the film. No, he does not. None of these films do you have a rapper rap. So even though we've got a rapper, an R&B star, none of them rap/sing in any of these films so far. Who knows? The next one might have Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson song.
Cool.
That'd be quite good. And so this had Bow Wow. They took it out of the streets of. He's in like Arizona school, and he does that race, not race, but he does that thing at the start where he drives those vehicles. I think it's the Dodge Viper. Do you remember the start of this film where they're driving along and he's chasing after the other car?
Yeah, vaguely.
And I think straight away, just that first sequence is better than anything in number 1. So I keep shitting back on number 1.
It's all about the action.
It's sort of, you know what? For a film that's called The Fast and the Furious, I think every other film was better than this one. Like the first one,
Okay, did you watch the first film first?
Yes.
You did. Okay.
Yes, I did. In this order, I've seen all of them in the cinema except number 8.
Wow, so you saw Fast and Furious before it was even known as a series?
Yes.
Wow.
So back in the day, we met in 2000.
Yeah.
And I was working in a local cinema.
You were, yeah.
So I'd seen every film, regardless of
everything.
Well, most films that made it to the UK, I would have seen. So before the internet said Fast and Furious is rubbish, don't watch it, I had to watch it because it was free. So I used to watch loads of these films, right? So I've seen them all in the cinema. Episode number 8. But yeah, so I think it got better. And actually, this is the first one where the cars drift. So they went from driving in a straight line to taking lefts and rights to turning to now drifting. I think in terms of the car evolution, it's got better.
Because they've added drifting, of course.
Of course, it's much better. Like Vin Diesel drove in a straight line and people got so excited. Then Tyrese Gibson was driving and he took a left turn. I got excited. And now they were drifting. Drifting.
Wow. Is it going to keep going like this? They always add something.
We'll find out. In this one, he's basically he gets kicked out of school, and to avoid like juvenile detention or jail, his dad, who's like the military U.S. Navy guy, goes, "Okay, look, let's go to." I can't remember why they go to Japan, but they went to Japan instead because I think maybe his dad was working there. Yeah. And then you never see his dad again, and his son just kind of goes off and does his school day. And he meets Bow Wow, and he learns about this underground racing, which is drifting.
That's what it's all about.
In this one, they don't steal anything. It's just about kind of like that relationship that he has with the girl, I don't think they steal anything,
course.
but there's just a lot of driving. The very end has that cameo. Dominic Toretto appears at the very end of this one. Do you remember this?
So
at the very end, Lucas Black is about to do another race, and he turns either left or right. I can't remember because their cars are weird. They're not on the same side of the road as us. And he sees Dominic Toretto in the same car as previously, because this ties into film number 6, where Han, because at the end of 6, when is it? See that at the end of 6 or at the start of 7, but when Jason Statham's car smashes through his car and kills him. So then that's why Dominic Toretto was in Tokyo, to try and speak to him to find out what happened and how Han died and stuff like that. Right. So that's why he appears here.
Wow.
And also the reason why this really happened was Universal wanted Vin Diesel back on the franchise.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to be in number 2. And he said, give me the rights to the incredible Riddick film, because I'm going to make loads of sequels and we make tons of money off that film. And they're like, yeah, sure. Only if you make more Fast and Furious films. Okay. So I think Universal got a better deal. I think he got shipped the franchise back, but they got him. They got him good with this Fast and Furious film.
It did good. It did good for everyone in the end, I think. So this is when we first start to see the franchise setting itself up properly as well. As soon as you get Van Diesel back.
Vin. I know he's like a car.
Diesel van.
So based on kind of like your memory of the film, what ranking have you given it? So you've given the first one a 4-star. You call it a masterpiece. The second one a 2. This one's a 3. So this one's
a 1.
What?
Too much drifting and too much Tokyo.
I think
I'm joking.
I know the performances were rubbish, because looking back at it, I saw some of this. Like the acting's bad. The actual story is kind of boring and kind of rubbish. But I think the driving sequences have got much better. And I think as a Fast and Furious film, as a film where they were driving fast and he was being furious, I think this. So if the
first doing everything.
If the first 2 films are first gear, I think this is second gear. No, this is third gear.
Third gear, because it's number 3.
This is not hitting NOS yet. This is not 4th or 5th, but this is the best they've had so far in terms of Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, because you like cinema spectacle. You've seen the first one; it didn't have it. The second one, it had a bit of turning.
I got drifting.
Finally drifting, finally something to see. As visually and for cars and visual in the cinema, I get it. I can see why you like it.
Yes.
But for me, this was the low point. It was going downhill because of, and you reminded me then, it's the acting and the delivery. It's just, all the scripting just feels so wrong from the second one and third one. Like it's going so sharply downhill. And that's why it feels like it's just about the cars, for all the wrong reasons. Like you can have good films about cars, but you've got to have good scripting as well. So yeah, I'm going to stick this to 1. Fix the script.
Fix the script. So
yeah,
so
good actors.
So that was number 3. They'd tricked Vin Diesel and they'd got him back for the next film. What's the next film called? Number 4.
Fast and Furious 4.
Take out the number 4.
Fast and Furious.
Yes. So they've got rid of the does. They've got rid of the 2s. The Tokyo Drift. They just simply call this Fast and Furious.
They called it Fast and Furious.
Yes.
It's practically a reboot. Like they brought back Vin Diesel and give it a reboot.
Basically. So Paul Walker's back. Vin Diesel's back.
Crazy.
Michelle Rodriguez is back. Jordan Baristia, she's back. Again, directed by Justin Lin. Excellent. What are they stealing?
I mean, I don't know.
They steal it every time the car. Have you ever seen them steal a car?
I'm hoping in the next 3 or 4 films
they steal a car at some point.
I'm pretty sure I saw them steal some cars
In
once.
this one, they steal a fuel tanker.
Okay, yeah.
At the very start of the film. But
Right.
what's the story, My Guy Monkey? I
Well,
would like.
what they do
Number
is they
4.
steal an oil tanker.
Yes.
Vin Diesel is back.
Yeah.
That's what I got. What happened in 4?
So in number 4, so
Undercover
basically,
cop? Is there again?
I think he's not undercover anymore. I think he is overcover.
Okay, then.
I think they know by now.
Is he quit?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. So in this one, they start off by heisting a fuel tanker. So they've gone from actually stealing DVD players, electronic goods, to now stealing tankers, fuel tankers.
Yeah.
In doing so, obviously these thieves stole from someone who then wants retribution for that. And this is the one where we see the guy kill Letty, Michelle Rodriguez. Do you remember this bit where the car spins over, the guy walks out the car and he shoots her?
Right, that's a big moment.
Big moment, and she's dead. They show it in the trailer as well. I think they should have kept that a bit secret. But anyway, and then Vin Diesel comes back, and then he discovers that Brian was using her as an informant.
Right.
Because he's overcover now. Like I said,
yeah,
everyone knows who he is. So he's using Letty to go undercover to try and find out about another drug cartel. So more drug stealing, fuel tank stealing,
and more drama. By the sounds of it.
Yeah, well, I think this time they go to Mexico. So again, I think this one, for me personally, they ain't that interested in every film. I think the action sequences weren't as good as number 3.
Okay.
From what I remember watching this week. I think so far we had number 1, drive in a straight line. Number 2, turn left and right. Number 3, we started drifting.
Tokyo drifting.
Number 4, oil tanker. And then they drove through Mexico, or on the way to Mexico through this tunnel system.
Is that like a long drive? So maybe
it was quite a long drive, yeah. For the Fast and Furious films, yeah, it is quite a long drive.
Perseverance driving is what they added to this one, then.
Yeah.
So that means it's lower on your scale.
Yes. Yeah? It did introduce Gal Gadot for the first time, Wonder Woman.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That was the new arrival.
Well, for me, I'd say it picks up. This is where the franchise starts to come back. I can't even remember it. I do need to rewatch it.
So this is when they bring back everyone. So this is, like you said at the start, this is the reboot.
Yeah. This is where you've got drama, and therefore you've got script, and you've got story, and you've got real reason to believe and think about the characters. So this is where it starts to come back for me. So yeah, opposite to you. This one gets a 3-star, just like
that. This one again is second gear for me.
So back down.
Yeah. So I was Tokyo Drift was in third gear. Now I've gone down to second gear. I would almost put it as almost as first gear. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think because you got the nostalgia feel of having everyone together, but is that enough for me personally to think that's a great film? Just because you chucked the original people back in there.
It brought the series back from the brink.
I don't know. Not for me personally. I just think it was just a case of that. Again, because you got Vin Diesel, how good can the acting really be? The story was.
Is all right.
The story was fine. It's almost a little bit of a rehash of number 2, where they've got the drug cartel. The difference here is they've stolen from him to start off with the fuel tanker, and then they're trying to work back. This person who you annoyed, who you've stolen from, now wants to kill you guys. Well, it's your fault, basically, right? You've kind of like brought this on yourself.
It makes them the victim.
Yeah. They're the bunch of thieves, right? And at the end of this film is where he finally quits the FBI, Paul Walker. And we see a judge sentence Dominic Toretto to 25 years to life in prison.
Wow.
And at the very end of the film, Dominic boards the prison bus and It's been transported to the penitentiary.
Yeah.
And on that route, at the very end of the film, we see the baddies about to break him out of prison. So clearly he's a criminal, and all these other people are about to commit another crime.
Yeah.
But the film kind of ends with these criminals about to succeed.
I mean, as soon as you see him get on the bus, you should be the first thing you should be thinking is this is a movie franchise about people who do stuff in vehicles. He's not going to be taken, straight to prison in a bus. He's going to be broken out.
Yes, basically, we've got criminals who drive cars quite fast in a straight line, and you're in a prison bus.
But he's an anti-hero, isn't he? Clearly, Vin Diesel.
No. Let's just look back at his rap sheet. He stole DVDs, goods from someone.
I mean, yeah.
He doesn't give to the poor. He keeps for himself.
Yeah.
So how's that anti-hero? He's literally
That's what anti-hero means.
He's
it
a
means
thief.
You're a hero, but you're. But
who's the hero in? Who did he
he's
save?
He's the hero of the movie.
He's not a hero of the film.
He's the center of the story. So
he's a criminal. He's a downright rotten criminal who got 25 years. So a judge in the judicial system and a bunch of people of our peers judged him to have committed crimes.
Yeah.
To give him 25 years to life, he's a criminal.
He's a criminal.
And he deserves to spend 25 years to rot in prison. But clearly, you think he's an anti-hero. I don't know who he's saving. Who is he saving? He's causing all this himself.
It's all about family, yo.
It's not about...
You expect your friends are your family and your cars. You've got to save the cars too.
Yeah, so I'll slip it back to first gear. Thinking about it, this film is just as bad as the first.
That's film. I'm getting 4 stars then. 4th gear.
What's the next film in the franchise?
Fast 5.
Yes, got it.
You can trick me with that one, didn't you?
Justin Lin is back, and what's the story, my guy monkey?
I've forgotten. There's a heist, isn't there? Is there a heist in
this is a heist movie. Yes, this is. It's also in some places it's called Rio Heist.
Wow. Okay. I'm guessing it's in Rio.
Yes, it's in Brazil.
Oh look, I knew that.
Brazil.
I remembered.
So this film is notable because Ludacris comes back, but also it's the introduction of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson into the franchise. This is his first entry into the film.
Okay.
And it is, so the film starts with them breaking him out of prison, as you refer to him as an anti-hero, the criminal, as they break a criminal out of a prison bus. That's how the film starts.
Yeah. Wicked.
But what was good about this is actually the driving's got better. The action's got better. It's been really ramped up.
The action is just gone. This is the point where the franchise starts for me when it comes to
Fast 5.
Cinema, yeah. Fast 5.
So they go from stealing DVDs, little break, steal a fuel tanker, and now they're stealing $100 million from a corrupt businessman.
There we go. Now they're the good guys. They're stealing from a corrupt businessman.
But they didn't give to the poor, did they? They kept the money themselves. They bought flash items themselves. They built themselves a house with money. So he may have stolen from other people. They stole from him. And they spent that money. Now, at least the corrupt businessman didn't spend that 100 million. He had just accumulated that money.
Yeah.
Who knows? In 6 months to a year, his plan may have been to build a hospital, a school, a university. We don't know. Yeah. But we just know Dominic Torero stole that from him, and he'll no longer be able to fulfill his dreams of building all this stuff. Yeah.
Orphanage.
Only so they can buy some flash cars and live a happier life than them.
Yes, the heroes.
The thieves.
The centerpiece of the story that we support, therefore the heroes. As
much as the shit on this franchise, this is my favourite film of the franchise.
There we go.
I love Fast 5.
Yeah.
This is me in 5th gear hitting NOS.
Yeah, this is when the cinema
started. This had everything I always wanted. Like, they drove cars, as you'd expect. Storyline is straight lines. but also when they had the safe at the back of the two cars, and the safe was rolling down Rio, smashing into cop cars, smashing into buildings. It was just amazing. Like they just ramped up the franchise to the next level. Like the number 4 was boring. I thought this time these criminals, these thieves have gone off and they've stolen $100 million, bunch of thieves, but they've done it so well. I also liked a bit, when they start to plan out the actual heist, and they build like a replica area to try and do cars to try and drift around to see if they can do it in a certain time. They actually show some more of the planning side of it all.
Yeah. And that's the way to do, like, when you have heist and you have planning, which can be very boring, that's the way to do it right. Is make it exciting, do some test runs, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I also like this one because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's in this. Him and Vin Diesel have a good, like, kind of fight. And I feel like up until this point, the criminal Diesel hasn't had a formidable foe.
No.
And I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, with his presence, his stature as a human being, and plus he's the good guy. He's the only good person in the film. He actually can match him physically on screen for the first time. And he's taller than him, and he's stronger than him. I mean, in real life, he would just break him in two. I think Dwayne would win. But yeah, all of that was great. Them running through Rio was great. There's that chase sequence between Dwayne chasing Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, and they're running on top of the shanty towns. All of that's amazing. I think there's so many good bits in this film, for me personally, that this is, definitely slipped into fifth gear, hit the NOS, and away I go. I love this film.
Yeah. Would you give it a star rating? Really?
No, it's fifth gear. It's a car related. I'm into fifth gear.
Fifth gear, you can't give it a star rating then, because it only goes up to 4.
No, he goes up to 5 gears in my car. So I've given the first 2 films a first gear. I gave the third film a third gear. I gave the fourth film 1. And now I went straight from first gear to fifth gear, and I've hit the NOS button.
Right. Okay. Bye. Off you go.
This also had a cool bit. Do you remember the train bit? They're in the train. Yeah. And they're going to steal those 3 cars. This is the film that had stealing of the cars.
And they steal cars.
They did in this one. And they jump off the train with the cars. Because what they find is one of the cars has got like a USB stick, and that's got all the transactions to the 100 million. So they actually jump onto a train and then jump out of a train with the car.
Yeah, action.
It's pretty amazing.
It's all great. It's all great action. Out of the stars, I would be giving this 4 stars for cinema.
4 stars in the cinema.
Yes.
So this is as good as it gets.
This is when it starts being cinema. Yeah, cinema worthy.
I think that you can watch them in the cinema, but they're not that good so far until this one, and then this one was incredible.
Yeah. Okay.
So then, after Fast and Furious 5, the best film in the franchise. What was the next film, or what was it called?
Easy. Fast and Furious 6.
Yes, that's it. They got so lazy, they just called it Fast and Furious 6. But in some places, it's called Fast 6.
Yeah, and also Fast 5 was, although that was the official title, I have seen it called Fast and Furious 5.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere as well, yeah. But I did notice that. I remember specifically noticing that one at the time. It was actually called Fast 5. Interesting. So
what's the story, My Guy Monkey, for Fast and Furious 6?
Is this the one in Dubai?
Nope. That's number 7.
That's number 7, bugger.
That's number 7.
Is that the one with the tank?
This is the one with the tank, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good memory.
Yes. That's all I remember. The story is there's a tank.
There's a tank, yep.
And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson punches it and breaks it.
No, but he does something in number 8. Similar. But not in this one.
Yeah, I can't remember. All I remember about this was the trailer for this one, and it was all about the tank. It was about taking it up from last time. Yeah, big action with the safe that are dragging around. This time, bloody great big tank, and they're stepping it up one.
Yeah, so this one ramped up again. So some of this is shot in London, and I don't know if you remember. There's bits around Trafalgar Square, and bits shot actually in London. And what they did, I think they shot it at on the hour. So I think it was like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And then they'd have like a small window. They'd have to do the shot. Then they wait another hour.
Sheets.
Then they'll do another shot, and you can see that bit in the film as well. It's really cool. So that's one bit. But this is more about so Owen Shaw and his brother. Owen Shaw's like Owen Shaw.
Yeah,
he's like a SAS major, and they're basically trying to steal some stuff, and they want to put together like a bomb or something. And this is when, just because he's bored. But at the start of the film, so the villains, another criminal outlaw case, they do a heist, and then the film starts where the car's running out or coming out of the building, and it's collapsing on itself, the building.
Right.
Anyway, they successfully steal that, and then now Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson reaches out to Dominic Toretto and the criminals to help him find these other criminals.
Yes.
And Dominic Toretto's like, I'm not interested. We're thieves. We just steal what we like, or whatever he says. In
I do what I want.
Voice. I do what I want when I want. I do who I want. All that kind of nonsense. Then he goes, well, they've got Letty. So Michelle Rodriguez, do you remember? She got shot in the head in number 4.
Yeah.
But in being shot in the head, she actually got amnesia.
Right? Of course.
And so she didn't know who she was. So obviously the bad guy, the other guys convinced her that she's a criminal, but she's a criminal that works for him. And so she's working with them. And that's how Dominic gets brought back into this world of trying to stop this other crew. And this one is a crew v crew. So pretty much everyone that they've got in their team, they've got a counterpart. So they've got a female Gal Gadot, a male Paul Walker, a male Dominic Toretto, Tyrese Gibson / Ludacris character on the other side as well.
Yeah.
So they've got pretty much same team for team, and they're going to stop those guys. And some of the driving...
These ones are actually bad guys this time, though.
They're all bad guys, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's the only good guy. Guys. They're all bad. They just stole 100 million.
The crew that basically took a girl with amnesia and convinced them to work with them, that's the bad guy, yeah?
He's another criminal, yeah. He's another criminal.
I'm not talking about criminals or non-criminals. I'm talking about
they're all
movie
bad
terms.
guys.
Okay. Who are you behind in this movie? Dwayne, are you behind one gang or are you behind both gangs? Or do you want both gangs to lose?
I want both of them to kill each other out, right? Isn't that what would happen?
You don't care about any of the characters?
Absolutely none but Dwayne. I was just like, just keep Dwayne safe. Please, someone just protect Dwayne.
Keep the cop alive.
Yeah, exactly. He's on his own. He doesn't have a team. He's having to call on criminals to take out other criminals.
Poor guy.
Exactly.
Terrible. I mean, he's got a nice 9-to-5 job. Well, I wouldn't say that.
He's got a daughter as well, which we see in number 7.
Daughter, there we go. It's just, it's such a hard life having a job and, a family.
It is, right? That's why I only care about him. I mean, Dominic Toretto doesn't have...
Who you relate to?
I can't relate to any of the other ones. Like, can I relate to a guy who steals DVDs? No. Why do I steal DVD players? A fuel tanker? No. Why do I steal fuel tankers, right?
I think you might be a minority in some ways. I think there's a lot of people that...
Side with Paul Walker?
How many people bought GTA 5? People love being criminals and love siding with criminals. Especially ones that drive fast cars and buy everything that they want.
Well, because this was shot in England as well, and it had Luke Evans. I was kind of rooting for him because he's British. The other guys were American. If we're waving our flag, minus Dwayne, obviously.
Was he on the bad side? Then? Bad guys.
They're all bad guys. He's the guy who's trying to what he's doing, he's going out and he wants to procure a weapon and he wants to procure items And unfortunately, people won't sell it to him. So he just goes around and he's like, you know what? I will take a piece from here. I'll take a piece and I'll build it myself. That's all he's doing. And Dominic Toretto is just coming in his way. He's trying to stop him. I just think, you stole. Yeah, the British guy. And, he just stole 100 million. Dominic Toretto. And this guy hasn't even got 100 million.
No, all he's trying to do is...
He's just trying to make a living, right?
Yeah. So I see what you're saying here. He's the good guy.
He is the good guy, right? So he's like Vulture in Spider-Man film. He's just going out doing his day-to-day and he's cleaning up the mess, and then damage control came away, took away his job. And that's the same thing happened to my poor boy Owen.
He's just a family man.
He's just trying to make a living, and then people just don't stop him from doing that.
He's just trying to make a weapon to give to his kid for Christmas.
Exactly.
He can't afford a present for him.
What did they do? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson calls multi-millionaire Dominic Toretto, who's got 20 million.
Yeah.
Paul Walker, who would have 20 million. Terry Skinner, or 10 million, whatever.
Yeah,
they're multi-millionaires.
People.
Exactly. to try and stop this poor British guy.
Yeah.
He's trying to make a living.
So you've got to see it from the American point of view then, because in American films, British people are always the bad guys.
They always play the bad guys, yeah.
They're always the bad guys. And of course, the guys that are rich and just take whatever they want, they're the Americans. They're the good guys.
They're the good guys. They're Wall Street, right? All they do is they steal from the poor, and they think of themselves as the rich.
They do what they want.
They do what
they're
they
Americans.
want.
This is why they're supposed to be the good guys. Perhaps for the British people, viewer, it's the other way around.
And at the end of this film is where we get the Jason Statham cameo, where he phones up Dominic Toretto after killing Han and says, "I'm coming for you." And the film ends.
Introducing another character again.
Another British actor.
Except this time is one that we can support, we can get behind.
Yes.
Of course, you already were behind the other one.
I was already behind Luke Evans, but now they've introduced Jason Statham, who's definitely... I mean, him and Dwayne, that's a proper man crush there.
Jason Statham.
I know. Amazing. I mean, there's me, him, and Statham. There's a three-way. It's just inevitable. They just don't know it. Yeah.
You could pulverize in that threesome.
I would be, but wouldn't he be the best?
There's nothing left of you.
But I imagine, like, Dwayne would cuddle a lot, right? He seems like a cuddleable man.
True,
Statham... remember in Transporter, he would kill me. Like Statham in all those Transporter films, he would. I wouldn't stand a chance.
Definitely.
But my God, those two handsome fellas. Anyway, so this was number 6, right? If I've given it my coveted rating, I think this was for me 4th gear.
Oh, it's gone down from 5th gear to 4th.
Yeah, I think the Heist film is the best film in the franchise.
Yeah, Heist was good. Yeah.
This film became almost like a team v team film.
Yeah.
Even though the action is actually incredible, like some of the stuff shot in London looks amazing. There's a bit where they're driving through one of the tunnels in London, and he's in this smaller car and he's whizzing through traffic. All of that, I think it's all been ramped up to the right level. I think it's going the right way. But for me, I still love 5 the best.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you.
Maybe I put this into 3rd gear. I'll slip into 3rd.
Wow.
Because I'm just thinking ahead.
Well, you've got to think ahead when you're driving. So
exactly, you got to think about the road ahead. And so, where would you put this?
Yeah, I mean, it's in cinematic mode, so I think it is a good job. But I think you're right; it is a little bit less than 5, but it's still carrying the cinema. So I say still watch it in the cinema. 4 stars.
Wow.
You've got, because again, what we've got coming up next, you need to just be watching all of these in the cinema, I think, in order.
So the next film is the one that, so number 3 happens next, and then the next film would happen. So what's the next film called?
Fast and Furious 7.
Yes, or what's the alternative title?
Fast 7.
Kind of, but it's called Furious 7.
Furious 7. Sneaky.
So this one is directed by James Wan, the first time horror director. We talk about a lot on our podcast because I love James Wan. This was his first non-horror film as well. And this is the one where they started shooting it, and in real life, Paul Walker passed away. Yeah. So they put the film on, just kind of delayed the whole film.
Yeah.
Came back, rewrote a lot of it, and then his brother stepped in to kind of like not replace, but
finish it
off for them, and kind of go through it. So that's kind of the thing about this film. But I think I can't remember what the story is. My God, Monkey. What's the story?
The story is it's all a giant goodbye to him, really, isn't it? That's what it is.
That's the end of it. But what's the 2 hours before that?
Is this the one in Dubai?
Yes, this is the one they will go to Dubai. You've done it.
And they jump from one building to another?
Yes, they do. They jump two buildings in total.
Yeah, that's the story. And then they say a big goodbye, and it's a quite sad goodbye for fans of the series that have watched it for 7 films now.
So in each film they ramp up stuff. So the last one they had
this is where they ramp it up. Definitely.
This is where they jumped a car from building to building.
Giant Dubai buildings. These are big buildings.
Yes, it is giant buildings.
Yes.
This also introduced Jason Statham to the franchise.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, at the start of the film, we go to the hospital, and Jason Statham's talking to his brother, and because his brother's been beaten up and left for dead in hospital by the criminals of the last film.
Oh yes.
And Jason Statham says, "Well, basically, if they put you in here, I'm going to put the rest of them in here as well." And as he walks out of prison, you see how he's basically beating up all of these people around him, because you see all these kind of people in armored gear just lying on the floor, which he's beaten up to try and get to his brother. And I think Jason Statham's the hero of the film.
because beating up all those people.
Because his brother has been brutally attacked.
Yeah.
Unprovoked. He's been attacked. He's in hospital, and he's come to see his brother, and he's like, whoa, what's happening here? Who's done this to my bro? So he's just all he thinks about is, there's these people who've done this crime against my brother. I'm gonna stand up to them. Yeah. And that's what I think the film is. It's about the little guy standing up to these criminals.
The only good guy is the guy on the side of the law, right? According to you.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
And Jason Statham is just beating up a load of people. He should have been going through due process.
Well, he would have tried.
Let the police do their job.
He was trying to go see his brother.
Yeah.
And all these people stood in his way. And he was just saying, look, I just want to go see my bro. He's in hospital. He could be on his last breath. I just need to go see him. And all these police officers would have been preventing him from doing that. And so he just had to make his way in.
But
that's
according
all it is.
To you, the law is the good guy. So he should not.
The law is
just stood there and respected the law and said, I'm not going to see my brother.
But what if his brother died? He would have always had that guilt that he didn't get to see him on his deathbed. Because maybe
the law wasn't the good guy all along, if they're stopping him from seeing his brother.
Well, this is the grey area.
You finally reached the grey area.
You got me on a technicality.
And
but Jason
Statham,
he's the good guy. He's amazing in this film. So like when Dwayne comes in number 5, I think he elevated the film and the franchise, everything. Number 6, he's in it, and the film is good, but it's not as good as 5, I think. And then Jason Statham comes in, and again he elevates the entire franchise in the film.
And I think actors.
Yeah, because that fight between him and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at the start in the office space is amazing. You know, I know it does that thing where the camera follows them, and then when he spins him around, the camera does that spin stuff. I think all of that is great. The whole fight between the two of them is amazing. And then kind of Dwayne is kind of sidelined for the rest of the film, which is unfortunate because he's such a good actor. Exactly, but he's the best thing. But then he's just in hospital. We see his daughter. But then, Jason Statham's just out for revenge on every single one of them because they put his brother in hospital and they killed him. Yeah. and that's kind of the story. It's just about stop. But there's also, do you remember the thing that they're trying to steal?
Is it a building in Dubai?
It's not a building in Dubai.
Then
It's
no.
something called God's Eye.
Okay, right.
So this is that thing that lets you plug into any camera, any any tech, and you can see anyone. You can locate them anywhere around the world.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
To me, an absolutely pointless piece of kit, because as the film starts to when the film ends, Jason Statham never has that technology, and he's always turns up at the right time, at the right place to fight Dominic Toretto.
That's what he's doing.
He doesn't need it.
The criminals need it, clearly.
Well, clearly he doesn't.
They're dumb.
The criminals. Yeah, Dominic Toretto, the criminals, they need it.
Yeah,
Jason Statham, the good guy, he just turns up. It just seemed like whenever there's an action beat, and they needed him to appear, he would appear. And he never had God's Eye, but he always knew where Dominic Toretto was.
Because he's Jason Statham.
He's just amazing. He's the transporter.
He is the transporter.
He is. There's a bit where they both drive towards each other's cars, then they get out, have a big fight. Him and Jason, as in Dominic Toretto and Jason Statham.
Do they jump out of the car and have a fight in midair as the cars are passing?
Not while other cars are passing. No.
That's the gear they can take it up to next, I think.
So they've in this one they jump the buildings. They also have the bit where Dominic Toretto's car he just basically falls off the edge of a cliff, and he just rolls all the way down, and the car and him survive.
Okay, roll cage. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that, but that all built into his car, so they make his car super heavy for that.
I think that was a reason given in there.
And at the very end, with her technology, they've got drones attacking the cars. So she's moving from car to car so she sat in someone's car, and then the drone's flying by, it's about to shoot them. So she jumps into another car, and then they try to chase them. And it's like that. But the biggest disappointment for me was this film had Tony Jaa. Do you ever heard of Tony Jaa, martial arts expert?
Yeah.
Made a film called On Bank. If you haven't seen it, you should watch that. Yeah. He's incredible. There's this actor. He's so amazing, martial arts guy. He's been in quite a few films, but there's a film I think it's called Protector, and it's like a video game, and he's going up these levels in this building, and he goes from kind of floor to floor to floor, and he beats up, and it seems like it's done in one shot the way the film loops around. And the whole action sequence is incredible. He just kind of like jumps around, and he does all of his action sequences tend to be without wires, no CGI. Like if you watch On Bank, he jumps through crazy things. He leaps from here to there, but none of it uses kind of wiring or CGI school. And he's in this film, and he fights Paul Walker, and he does all this stuff. But he seems underutilized. Like he's such a good martial arts expert that no one in Dominic Toretto's team is that good. I do know what you mean now, yeah.
I remember who he is now, and I remember him in the film.
Because they're in the van. No,
you're right. Maybe there's just too many people introduced into this film, really, to give him the limelight. I mean, against Jason Statham, come on.
Exactly. I mean, this is a Statham vehicle. I mean, he drives this film. So that's the only problem where you've got, I think, international superstars coming into your franchise. Unfortunately, don't have enough kind of like limelight to shine. Because I think this franchise would be perfect for Jason Statham, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, people like that can take it to the next level. But it's not a martial arts kind of. It's not a hand-to-hand action kind of film.
No,
where it can showcase his talents, which is unfortunate because he's a perfect actor and he's incredible at what he does. I just think this film didn't showcase all of that for him. But if he drove a car really quickly, then then he's fine. But he didn't have that moment.
Well, I think if he was given enough space to do that, like if he's built up his character in the right way to fit the universe, then they could do a whole film on him if they were willing to do it.
But I guess because if you think you introduced Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in 5, and in 7 you had Luke, 6 you had Luke Evans, but now you got Jason Statham in 7.
Yeah, they've just got the giants now. They can't.
Yeah, you can't now kind of bring him in. Maybe if it came in at 4, or even in 3 in Tokyo Drift.
They could have fixed 3 with him.
Yeah, they could have had him as the main villain in the film. He could have held the whole film by himself, and that would have given him limelight to kind of do all these cool stuff, jumping between cars, having a huge action sequence or something. But
we'll see the future. We'll see if they do something with him.
Yeah, and this is a film where you're right. At the very end, they have that moment where the two cars, Vin Diesel's car and Paul Walker's car, kind of stand side by side, and he smiles at him, and they both kind of go off their separate ways. As kind of signal the end of Paul Walker's kind of involvement in the franchise and kind of in what's happened in the world as well, and Dominic going off to make more films.
That's still, even just talking about it, it's just a very moving moment. Like,
it was like the bit on the beach.
Say goodbye to someone like that.
They're on the beach and they're all sat around and they're just watching Paul Walker and Jordan and their kid just playing, and you're just like, and he says, you know, I think they're happy, and I can't. Anyway, he's not one for words anyway, Vin Diesel, but he's kind of the way the film and the way the director captures it, you can tell that's a moment where the characters are looking back at it and say, you know what, his life and his world is complete, and this is his family, this is who he needs to look after. We can go off and do our own thing, but I think they're safe and they should kind of carry on doing this instead of coming into this underworld that we are all part of, and you can get killed and stuff. And then they kind of walk away.
That's change of pace as well compared to we steal stuff because we want to, actually caring about someone.
Yeah. I mean, he always refers to these criminals as his family in all these films anyway.
And I'm sure a lot of people that grew up with the films and have seen every single one will feel like he's part of the family as well. They've seen him every time on the screen. Yeah,
and with Paul Walker marrying his sister as well, so that is family. I mean, that's his brother-in-law anyway. So
family, exactly, for reals.
And it has that moment right at the very end, and it kind of ends off. So, what is your rating for this one?
It's another cinema watch, 4 stars. What gear for you?
So I was on 3rd gear for the last one. The reason why I pushed that one into 3rd is so I can go up to 4th. So this one for me, Jason Statham comes in, and this is a great film. I would almost I just think this film, and it's maybe just the way James Wan directs non-horror films, this feels just the same as what Aquaman felt like. It was from one location to the next location, to the next location, to the next location.
I agree. It is, but it's good action. It's all good locations.
No, but his story, like in Aquaman, they have to go get the trident. So they go from one area because they're both same director and the same.
Aquaman was so poor.
It feels like the film is built the same way as this one. So in that they got to get the trident. In this they got to get God's Eye. So to get God's Eye, they have to go through the following steps to get it to when they get to Dubai, and then they go to the next location, and then it gets stolen from them. So they have to go to the next location.
Okay.
The trident. So they go to get the trident. But before you go get the trident, he has to fight against the Ocean Master. Trident. So we go to the first place. Oh, it's not here. Now we go to the next place. Now we go underwater. Now there's a big battle. It's his story. Like, I love him as a director, but his 2 live action films just feel so similar in the way they're just bunched up together. If he makes a horror film, like when he's done the Conjuring films or he's done Saw, I think they're more cohesive and they're just so much better because there's maybe smaller budget or whatever. But his 2 live action films, I don't enjoy as much. I still love him. I still think he's great. But so this for me was 4th gear. But because Jason Statham's in there, I'd slip it into 5th. Purely. Just purely because he's in the film.
Just slide it into that gear. Just into Jason's.
Exactly, because of Statham. That moves us into the next film. What's the next one called?
Was there another movie?
There was another movie, yes.
Oh, did I watch this one? I'm not even sure.
Paul Walker's not in this one anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
But there is, as in a film that got released. They're making number 9 right now. Yeah. Hobbs and Shaw comes out this weekend, or has, depending on when you download the podcast.
Yeah.
There was a film in between.
Okay. Was it a Fast and Furious 8 or was it not?
It was Fast and Furious 8, but it's called something else.
Oh no. I can't remember.
So there's multiple titles, like you always say, Fast and Furious 8, Fast 8. They're the kind of like ones that not many people may call it, but it's called Fate of the Furious.
Wow, Fate of the Furious. Where was it called that? Was it called that in the UK?
Yes, it was.
Wow, I missed this one.
Okay, so this one was directed by F. Gary Gary. So this is, I always thought this guy only made a few films, and I was surprised to see his filmography. And I was like, wow, he's done some good stuff. But he also did Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
Before this. After this, he did Men in Black International. You saw that.
Yeah, that was okay.
There's a lot of studio interference in that film.
Yeah.
That's why it's bad. Okay. So this film, Fate of the Furious, it stars Charlize Theron.
Okay.
And it starts off where they're in Cuba. Okay. And basically, he's got to drive a car against someone else's car. And he's given up his car as collateral, so they have a race at the start of the film.
It's just like standard, yeah.
Just like the other films, but the actual racing is quite good in this film. I've seen this film a couple of times. The actual race at the start is actually quite good. It's as silly as all things get. The car catches on fire. It's basically about to explode. He's driving the car backwards because that's always faster.
Yeah, it's always
driving it forwards.
God.
And all that kind of crazy malarkey. Yeah. And he jumps out of the car at the very last minute or second, while he must be going about 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, whatever it is, and just literally just rolls out onto the floor as casual as can be. Yeah, not a scratch on him. Like, even a car going at 50 miles, if you jump out the car, you're going to get some bruising.
Even 10 miles, you're going to be...
Yeah, and Vin Diesel just walks off, brushes himself off, gets up, he's won the race. And that's how the film starts. But this one had Charlize Theron.
Who's Charlize Theron?
Charlize Theron.
Theron.
Yeah, you know her.
What's he been in? Oh,
What's she been in? She won an Oscar for the film Monster. She's been in Huntsman. She's been in so many films. 2 Days in the Valley.
Okay,
and Italian Job. I'm naming all her rubbish films. She's been in good films as well. She has. Sure. And in this film, she's talking to Dominic Toretto and says, basically, I need you to steal an EMP for me. And he's like, why would I do anything for you? It's because... And then she shows him her phone, and she's got the most important thing, more than family, it's his blood family. She shows him a picture of his kid. Remember?
Okay. Right.
So she's basically.
I'm not sure.
So so when Letty disappears in number 4, by the end of number 5, he starts to have a relationship with that police officer, not Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but the one he's partnering with, and they have a kid together, which he didn't know about, and she's stolen the kid, and she's keeping the kid hostage and the woman hostage.
Yeah.
And so this is the one where Dominic Toretto goes bad. Okay. So they do that heist to steal the EMP. He knocks over the Rock's car, steals the EMP, and they drive off, and the Rock ends up in prison, the same prison as Jason Statham. Do you remember this bit?
How did the Rock go to prison?
Because he's stealing an EMP.
Right, okay.
So basically, they've been given a job by Kurt Russell to go steal an EMP because it's in Russia or somewhere. Anyway, the other criminals have this EMP. You criminals need to steal this EMP. And Dominic steals it for another criminal, as is all criminals. Anyway, so he ends up in prison because he's stealing, and he ends up in the same prison as Jason Statham.
Nice.
And their chemistry is amazing. Anyway, they're so funny together, and they start doing exercise and stuff, and they're in cells right opposite each other, so they're just kind of mocking each other. And then there's a prison break, and both of them head to the exit, beating everyone they can, heading towards the exit to a showdown between Statham and Rock, which is the showdown we always wanted. And
just
Kurt
give it
Russell,
up and both leave.
Exactly. And then, Kurt Russell walks in and he stops them and he breaks them both out of prison.
Oh, nice.
And this is where, as the franchise has always been a bit dumb, Jason Statham, the hero of the last film, he comes out of prison with The Rock, and they all seem to forgive him for killing Han.
Just like that, yeah.
Just like that, and he joins the criminals because he then helps them to try and stop. So basically, because
he's a criminal now. So.
No, he's still the good guy. No, he's never.
No, he's been in prison.
Yeah, there's a lot of innocent people in prison as well. Like he was just helping.
That's what I would say. You said the law is the law.
The law is the law.
He was helping his brother.
Blood. He was helping his blood. He was basically. No, he's the good. Anyway, leave him alone. Anyway, so Jason Statham and Dwayne, they come out and they got to stop Dominic Toretto from getting all the pieces for Charlize Theron, and she's gonna sell it. She's a hacker, because now we're into. We've gone from selling and stealing DVDs to oil tankers to now there's people with the ability to see anything, God's eye, to more hackers and.
They're going to hack into the PlayStation Network, steal everyone's passwords.
Exactly.
It must be stopped.
It must be stopped.
This must not happen again. Too many times.
Second time, third time, no more. We can't take it anymore.
We can't take more stuff for being hacked.
And there's the bit in the trailer and in the film where, remember, Dominic's car is in the middle of the road and they all harpoon his car one by one. And then they're all going to drive off in different directions to try and stop him from going. And he just changes gear. Nice. And slowly they're all on pops and all the cars are left and he just drives off. It's so silly. It's such a dumb film. So the dumb things that happen in this film, autonomous cars or driverless cars. Do you remember this bit? So he's driving around and he's being chased by police officers. He's being chased by anyone. And because she's a hacker, she can hack into all these cars. So there's multi-story car parks filled with driverless cars that she's just able to control. Because in Fast and Furious world, in that future, because it's not the real world, there's just so many driverless cars that she can just control. She just gets heaps and heaps. There must have been at least 100 odd cars, maybe more, that she just controls and smashes into other cars and stuff.
If they're driverless cars, I guess it's possible. Yeah.
So that's dumb thing number one. Dumb thing number two, but it's so cool, is when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson punches a missile. So this is a bit you were saying, did he punch a car?
I just made that up. I just came up with that.
There's a moment where it's near the end of the film, and there's a missile that's shooting across the ice, and he just gives it a punch because he's Dwayne. He can do anything. And then the third dumb thing is when there's a submarine and they're being chased by a submarine, right? So Vin Diesel and the lot are being chased by a submarine. The submarine shoots off a heat-seeking missile.
Oh, yeah.
And the car is able to outrun the missile, do a turn, and get the missile to go back on the submarine. And this guy directed Straight Outta Compton.
I think I might remember that scene, unless I'm thinking of Johnny English or something. Was there a scene like it in Johnny English?
No.
One of the three?
No. Johnny English is based more on real life stuff.
There was a amazing. Yeah.
I know, and the crazy thing, he's directed Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
Which was an incredible movie, and it had a good story. It had relationships, and it had a kind of family stuff coming together. And then he just went, "Okay, I'm going to make this ridiculous film. Why not?" And he did.
It though. I mean, I didn't like the idea of the way they just keep on beefing it up, making it more and more ridiculous. But that's kind of what it is. That's what
it is. This is what
the series is now.
It's gone from kind of like a car being driven straight to these guys can do anything and they're indestructible. And if you want them to steal anything in the world, you get these set of criminals and they'll steal whatever for you whenever. And they'll draw up plans and they know the routes of all these convoys and they know where to jump in and jump out. Whatever it is, they can do it. Because there's no one that clever who's on the correct side of the law. There's only these people who work on the outside of the law.
If you're on the right side of the law, you're in the office all day doing paperwork.
I guess
how are you going to ever learn
someone
the
has
skills?
to explain all of this, don't they? Why is there a tank on the main road?
Yeah,
Why are there cars flying out of an
exactly.
airplane?
They were just writing reports, yeah.
Why is a submarine torpedo being punched by a man?
Yeah, have we just encountered Superman who's just punched a missile?
But the best sequence in this film, and maybe not the best in the whole franchise, but maybe it's top 5, is
Okay.
the bit with Jason Statham in the airplane. Do you remember this? He's got the kid. He's got Dominic Toretto's kid. They put a set of headphones on this little kid, and he's in his car seat, and he's shooting all these people around him and punching them and all sorts of cool things. And he's at the same time entertaining the kids so the kid doesn't cry.
Awesome.
It was just amazing. I mean, Statham is incredible.
Now that's
anyway,
something Family Man can relate to, right?
anyone can relate to that, because that's just Statham at his best, right? He can do anything. He can do no wrong, and I love that whole sequence on the plane with Jason Statham. Helen Mirren has a cameo in this as well. Nice. She plays Jason Statham and Luke Evans' mum. Sorry.
Okay.
She's the mum.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah. So I mean, what your ranking system?
Yeah.
For me, this is fourth gear.
I mean, this is just another cinema watch, surely. Is that silly?
This is just a ridiculous film. It has, but the set pieces are quite good.
Yeah, I can't really judge it because I can't be sure if I've seen it, but I do want to see it.
Because the start race is good. It's a bit of fun. I think it's on Netflix right now, so it'd be worth watching. Then watch it for the Statham bit on the bus. That's great on the plane. And this is the one most notably because this is the one where I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson called out Vin Diesel as not being a nice person in real life. And if you watch this film, and if you haven't seen it and you'll watch it back, they do not share one scene together on screen. They're just not on screen at all in the whole film. So it seems like there is friction between the two of them, and it was caused because of this film, and they've kept the two of them apart all the way through the film.
Wow. So what's the next movie going to be looking like?
Well, the next film is Fast and Furious 9, which is being shot right now, directed by Justin Lin, but John Cena's in. Dwayne is out.
Okay. So
he's not even in the next film.
Dwayne is out. Oh, no.
Yep. And Jason Statham's out as well.
What? Jason Statham is out?
Yeah, because they're currently shooting that film while these two have just finished Hobbs and Shaw, which comes out. So they've got their own spin-off film.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
With Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham. And plus they might be working on other things right now. So they've gone ahead, and so far they've signed, Vin Diesel's back, Michelle Rodriguez is back.
They've gone totally separate.
Tyrese Gibson. Yeah, so in this one, number 9, they're not in. Charlize Theron's back. John Cena's in.
Yeah, but what Hobbs and Shaw is number 9, surely? In the franchise order.
It's Fast and Furious Presents, so it's like a spin-off movie.
Presents, no. It's a sequel.
It's Hobbs and Shaw, a Fast and Furious story. But it's not number 9, no.
That's crazy. I mean, they're just completely splitting the franchise by the sounds of it.
Yeah, so this is basically there are other spin-offs, and there's a TV show coming out soon, Fast and Furious, Sky Racers.
Was that another Netflix series or?
It is a Netflix series, but it's a cartoon.
Okay.
And then that will have its own life. Obviously, if Hobbs and Shaw does really well, you might have a Hobbs and Shaw sequel. So you could almost have a different spin-offs from the Fast and Furious. There's also a female-centered or lead Fast and Furious film being considered. So maybe Michelle Rodriguez will lead a female team of criminals to do a Fast and Furious film.
Cool.
So you'll have number 9. Number 10 will end the main franchise. That's the last film.
That's
and then you might have spin-offs. Yeah. Number 10 is supposed to be the last one.
Will 10 be the female-led one, or will that be
No, as in the last of the main, for the main franchise, for the main characters.
End of Vin Diesel.
End of Diesel,
Diesel
and
that.
then other spin-offs and stuff could happen. So maybe Ludacris gets his own film with Tyrese Gibson. Who knows?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do, how they handle that, because splitting everything off is not necessarily the best way to go. But maybe they're going to pan a universe next.
Yeah, they could do. Well, that's why they've built a spin-off film to see if that goes well. Then they could maybe see with Fast and Furious. Why not have Fast and Furious and Transformers crossover film? Yeah, Vin Diesel could drive Optimus Prime, and then Jason Statham could drive Bumblebee. There's so many like different things they can be doing together, and they could fight Megatron together. Because Jason Statham, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, they're like robots anyway, and so is Vin Diesel. Well, yeah. They all think they are.
They could definitely improve the Transformers films.
Exactly. There's cars in that film. They go to space. They could be on planet Earth, but they could call in the Fast and Furious boys and women.
Boys and women. I don't know. I mean, I was expecting the next thing for them to steal would be a planet or maybe the moon. So why not? If they need Transformers for that.
Yeah, they could do Cybertron. Why don't they steal Cybertron? Or in the very last Transformers film, we find out planet Earth is Unicron. So maybe they have to take out Unicron from planet Earth. So they have to drive to the center of the universe.
Wow.
So into the core, into the magma, and to drive out Unicron.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this.
So maybe not going inwards, but you're saying go out of space. So whatever 9 is, I don't know where you take 9 because you've done all the ridiculous things so far. But number 10, they should go to space. So what?
Yeah, be a good way to end the
Fast and Furious in Mars.
Yeah, I mean, just have it at the end. They just go off into space, and then you have the spin-offs. Yeah.
Maybe what they could do is they could get to Mars, colonize Mars. Put some dirt tracks and race tracks and everything. Yeah, find the water source. Find the water source down there. Build their house next to it, and then charge people money for water. So that's all the criminals wanted to do from the start, didn't they? They just want to steal from people. This way they can give back to the rich.
That's too legit. You can do that legit.
I know but you had to steal the water in the first place. Someone had to.
Yeah. Well, they let someone else sell the water, and then they'll steal from them and say, "Well, they were bad guys."
Yeah, so we can steal from them.
Yeah, so it's fine.
So so for me, I think that is a fourth gear.
Yeah.
Number 8. It is fun though. It is ridiculously fun film.
Excellent. I'm not sure if I've seen it. I may well have seen it once I start watching it, but still, 4 stars. Let's see it.
Okay, so we always like to. Well, we say we always like to, but I like to play a game, and you like to play a game on this, right? Okay. So on this franchise, we're going to play similar to what we did when we played the Disney one. You're going to tell me if you think it's fresh or rotten.
Yeah. Hit or miss.
So so I'll give you the title. I'll tell you how much it cost and how much you made worldwide, just to see if that will kind of sway you either way.
Fresh, rotten, fresh.
So the very first, the Fast and Furious, cost like 38 million. So it's a very small film in comparison to some of like the bigger action films. But even like the first John Wick film is about 20 million. So this didn't cost a lot. But worldwide gross of 207 million. So critic response, what do you think it was?
Fresh.
Rotten. What do you think the fan response was?
Fresh.
Yes. The next film, directed by John Singleton, so the guy who directed Boys in the Hood. It's a great director. Too Fast, Too Furious. Budget almost doubled, 76 million. Grossed 236 million worldwide, so it's made a lot more money. What was the response critically?
Rotten.
And fans?
Oh, fans. Oh, that's a difficult one. Fresh.
This one was double rotten.
Oh, as it should be.
So the next film, Tokyo Drift, Justin Lin's first film, right? 85 million budget, worldwide gross of 158 million. Critical response?
Rotten.
And fan response?
Rotten.
So this one was rotten critical, Fresh fan response.
I got it round the wrong way for the last film.
So the next film, Fast and Furious, the film without the does.
Fresh.
Cost 85 million, grossed 363 million worldwide. Critical response.
Fresh.
And fans response.
Fresh.
This was rotten critical response.
Wow.
Fresh fan response.
Okay.
So,
Like the first film.
Then the next film is Fast 5. Cost about 125 million. So now they're chunking in some serious chunk of money in here. Grossed 626 million worldwide. What's the critical response for Fast 5?
Fresh.
So far, it's been mainly rotten, and you're going fresh. Okay.
Yeah, fresh.
And
I'm not giving up. Fresh.
This one is fresh, yes.
Yay.
Fast and Furious 6 or Fast 6, costing 160 million. So this is the one that they shot in London. Gross 788 million worldwide. So now we're making some serious loose change. Critical response.
Fresh.
And fan response.
Fresh.
Double fresh, you're right.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious 7, the Dubai heist, the one where they jump from building to building, cost 190 million, grossed 1.5 billion. So this is the biggest in the whole franchise. This one made the most amount of money. And actually, I think based on kind of the numbers, it's biggest profit margin as well. Critical response for a film that is just one set piece to the next set piece to the next set piece, stealing a piece of property that you didn't really need because Jason Statham turned up to the right place at the right time.
Well, I think critics would be a little bit more critical about this one, but I'll still say fresh. We'll see.
And fan response?
Fresh.
What if I was to say you're right, both are fresh? The next one is the most ridiculous one of all, Fate of the Furious, which is about him trying to get his son and has the driverless cars, the punching of a missile, a car outrunning a torpedo. Cost 250 million, so this cost loads more. Gross 1.2 billion worldwide. Critical response?
Fresh.
Even though the film is that dumb. And fan response?
Fresh. Because
67% class is fresh. So it is fresh. And fan response was 72%.
Fresh.
So again, fresh.
What is it you need to get fresh? I thought it was 70%.
60 and above.
60, okay. Excellent.
So they just scraped in. But okay, so last one we'll play based on kind of percentages. You choose either critic or fans, and then you got to guess higher and lower from the last percentage.
Okay.
So which one do you want to do, critic or fans?
Well, so we're doing the same thing, but
yeah, because you don't know the percentages, you just need to say higher or lower.
Okay. Can you'll remind me of which was... Wait.
I'll tell you which film, and you just got to say which one you want to do. Do you want to do fans or do you want to do critical response?
I'll do critic. Yeah, I'll do critic.
So the first Fast and Furious had a critical response of 53%, okay?
Yeah.
So Too Fast, Too Furious, higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower, 36%, yes. Tokyo Drift, then number 3, higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher, yes, 38%. Yes. Fast and the Furious.
Higher.
39% by 1%.
Yes.
Fast 5.
Higher.
77%.
Wow.
Fast 6.
Oh no. Lower.
Lower, you're right, 70%.
Yes.
Furious 7.
Oh, higher.
Higher at 81%. Fate of the Furious.
Lower.
Because I told you 67%. You're right.
Did you? I forgot that. Shit. Yes.
You did it. There you go.
Yeah, man. Look at that.
Nice. You are a fanboy. Through. That's what that proves.
It proves that I knew where the series was going all along. I got my finger on the pulse.
But do you want to try the fan response then?
No, too hard.
Because you have no idea.
Too hard. That one. Go on then. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so the first film, The Fast and the Furious, was 74%. Higher or lower for Too Fast, Too Furious?
Oh, it was lower.
That's right, at 50%. Tokyo Drift.
Higher.
Higher or lower? Then higher than 50%.
Yeah, higher.
69%. You're right. Then the one where they did the reboot, brought everyone back, Fast and Furious 4.
Higher.
Higher. It's 67%. It's lower.
Oh, shit. I knew that was a difficult one.
You're too cocky. And then Fast 5.
Higher.
83%. You're right. Fast 6.
Lower.
84%.
Oh, wow.
Literally 1% more. Furious 7, the highest grossing one in the franchise.
That was lower.
You're right, 82%. And Fate of the Furious,
lower.
The last film, 72%. Yeah, so it's on a downward spiral. That's what you got right.
Not too wrong. Too wrong.
Brilliant. So then that's the Fast and Furious films.
Yeah, good job.
I think for me, favorite is number 5. What's your favorite one?
Yeah, I think 5 as well. That's because it became cinematic then, and yeah, that was a good job. It was good at bringing it back to everyone, cinema goers.
And I have one kind of just last piece of trivia, right? So each one of the films have released. Not each one has released, but there's been singles that have come off of that. So we'll rank 3 of the songs that I know that I enjoyed. Okay. So basically, in number 5, it has a song called Danze Condro, and it's a Spanish song with Lucenzo and Dom Omar, and it's a dancey, upbeat song. If you heard the song, you'd be like, "Oh, I remember this," because it plays most of the way through the film. So that's song number 1, which you've never heard.
Yeah.
But featured on number 5. The second one that I know and I love from the franchise is called We Own It, which is 2 Chainz featuring Wiz Khalifa. It features in number 6.
Okay.
And then the last one is See You Again, which is the Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth song. The one which 7. Features at the very end of 7. That's right. Yeah. The crying one.
Yeah.
So if you were to rank song for number 5, number 6, number 7, where would you rank those songs? Well, they all feature at the end of the films.
Yeah.
So at the end of each one of those films, they come up. So one's a dance track, one's a pure out and out hip hop track. The other one is R&B and hip hop track. So 5, 6, 7.
I would go for 7 first, and then 5, and then 6.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think I would do the order the other way around.
You agree?
I
was going
the actual
for predicting
See You Again. Yeah. So See You Again was a huge song. That was a big song. Everyone was singing that.
The hit, yeah.
That was a massive song. I just think it's more the chorus and not the verses. So the actual lyrical verse, which pulls the song together, isn't as good as the chorus for See You Again.
Yeah.
I think that See You Again, the words that come across in that song, which plays at the very end of the film, I think that has a more powerful meaning than the rest of the song.
It's because it's to do with the death of the actor.
Paul Walker. Yeah. But We Own It, which has got 2 Chainz and Wiz Khalifa. He says in one of the lines in the rap, he does say, "We went from stealing something to big guns and big things," and it's literally. He summarized all the films in 2 lines of his lyrics to say, basically went from nothing to now stealing all these big things.
These players.
Exactly. That's why I quite like that song. That's why. But for me, my preference would be number 5, which is the Lucenzo song, which is such an upbeat Brazilian kind of Latin America kind of vibe to it.
Cool.
And it really goes with that film, I think, because it's cinematically in that area and they're stealing all that money, a bunch of thieves. But it's that summery feel that goes with this film. And I think the other two, because I'm not saying hip hop songs aren't summery enough, but that one suits because these films come out about April, May time. And in England, that's kind of when we get into the warmer period of time where we have the 1 month of rain. So for me, that kind of suits the film.
Well, it does rain as well.
But we might get a bit of sun.
Yeah.
And looking at these other songs on here, there's stuff from Pitbull, which I've never heard of. G-Eazy, never heard of. Young Thug, never heard of that song. Kid Ink, another song by Dom Omar. But yeah, there's nothing on these singles from Ludacris, from Tyrese, or from Ja Rule, or Bow Wow, which is weird because you've got them in your film. You got rappers in your film and you don't put them on your singles.
Thing is, it's about their style, and also they obviously want to act rather than rap. So I guess trying to make them rap when they want to act might be a bit insulting.
Or maybe you're saying they're crap.
Crap at rapping.
Basically.
I mean, yeah. Why didn't they use it as a vehicle to sell their rap?
Yeah,
front and center.
Exactly, because Will Smith used to do it back in the day. He had the Men in Black songs.
Yeah.
He had the Wild Wild West song. He used to do that for a few of the songs. DMX has done lead singles for films as well.
Yeah.
I think they missed a trick there. Maybe Furious 9.
Yeah, they could have written songs for the movies. Maybe they don't write their own songs, really. That's what it is.
Shots fired. You hear that, Ludacris?
Oh, they're coming for me.
They're coming for you now.
Just write.
You say...
If you can write a song, you can write your own songs. Prove it by writing My Guy Reviews, a soundtrack
to the Fast and Furious films.
If you can't, then don't bring it. Just write it for us.
Shots fired at Ludacris. Ja don't care because I'm sure he's got his own problems right now. But wow, poor Ludacris. He's gunning for you. That was you. That's all you. That's got nothing to do with me. If I met Ludacris, I'd be like, I love you, Luda. That song that you had #1 spot, I loved it. Area Codes, loved it. So that's our review of the franchise Fast and Furious films. Hobbs and Shaw, which is coming out or is out. How excited are you for this new Jason Statham rock vehicle?
I'm kind of looking for. I like the actors.
Yes.
And they're back and forth, but that's all the film is. So yeah, I'm excited for the actors.
Alba's in it as well.
Okay. Well, I mean,
villain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that excited for it. What about you?
I'm super excited for this one because I love Statham.
I love the actor.
I love Dwayne and I love Idris Elba as well. I think what they've done is gone back to the roots where they've gone, let's go British villain. So they brought Idris Elba in. They've had a
British hero as well, Statham.
Yeah, he was the villain in #7. His brother was the villain in #6. So they've had this at least in 3 films now. They've gone for British villains. So
yeah,
they've chucked him in. Yeah, I mean, for me this is 5th gear. I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah, I think anything Jason Statham's in.
Yeah,
regardless of films, I'll watch it anyway. I know some of them turn out to be rubbish, but I still watch it. Anything with Dwayne in, I'd watch it as well. And I love Idris Elba. I just think he hasn't had a vehicle to kind of showcase his talents. Like, he's such a good actor.
Okay.
And I really hope this is his massive breakthrough to get bigger roles.
Having not seen it yet, would you give it star rating?
This is
5th gear already.
This is 5th gear. Yeah, this is Fast and Furious 5 was 5th gear, but I hit the NOS button.
Oh, yeah.
That's the quickest, and that's the best you can go. So this is Jason Statham, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Idris Elba. I'm already in 5th gear.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've not hit the NOS button yet.
Yeah.
I think as soon as
slip it into 6th and be ready.
There isn't a 6th.
Why not?
Not in my car. My car goes to 5.
Car.
You
need to get a new car. Fast and Furious ready. You need a Hobbs and Shaw ready car. It's not ready.
I do. For next week. Once I've seen the film this weekend,
you'll be slamming on the brakes.
I'll come back and I'll say
it into first.
This car was in neutral the whole time. It never took off. It never moved. It was awful.
Go and get your car crushed.
Yes. Well, I hope not. I hope this is just a great film.
Yeah, it should be okay. We'll see.
You love the franchise as a whole. I'm surprised you're so far
I never liked French. I never even liked Fast and Furious.
But you were banging on about how these are all 4-star films.
The cinematic side of it, yeah, that's good. It's good fun once it's past number 5, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's just good fun.
Oh.
So the fact they were doing other stuff, not really focused on driving, because it's Hobbs and Shaw doing stuff down buildings and stuff. So
they're still driving.
What to expect, really? Just call it Fast and Furious 9 then.
Sure, they are making a Fast and Furious 9. I told you, this is a separate movie. Yeah. So we've finished the franchise talk. Now we do our segment. So this is called My Guy Quick Reviews, where we talk about stuff that we've been doing. So films, music, games, books, whatever we've been reading. Kind of give it a quick review. So what have you been up to, Monkey?
Okay, so I watched The Lion King.
Finally, because you made me wait so long, I had to go watch Lion King myself.
You did as well. Oh, excellent. What did you think?
Hated it.
Hated it, yeah? Really?
Because I went in knowing that I loved the original, and then I sat down, and then the very first shot of the Serengeti, and then seeing the animals moving exactly the same way for the circle of life.
Yeah.
All the way to where Rafiki picks up Simba and presents him. All of that is the same. It's almost shot for shot.
Exactly the same, yeah.
There's a few bits that are shot differently. The hyenas are slightly different. There's the hyena who's got no space and no boundaries. The Tumba and Timon, the jokes are pretty much the same. The bit when he goes to the watering hole is slightly different in the cartoon to this, but it's the same. Like the gags that I've seen in the original cartoon were there in this as well.
Oh, yeah.
Beyonce literally has maybe 10, 20 lines at the most in the whole film. And her name's slapped bang in the middle of the whole thing. She's not really in the film that much. Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, when he sings Hakuna Matata and he sings it a little bit longer than he should, it's just because he's a great singer. I didn't like it. There's points where their feet go into the ground and you can tell it's CGI on CGI because the grass didn't move the way the water felt. You know, when they did Can't Wait to Be King and someone splashes him with water, the water feels heavy. I don't know why. It just felt when they push the water, water should flow off you and it should be different. But it just felt when that one scene, it felt a bit heavy.
I don't know.
It looks incredible. It looks much better than Jungle Book. It's bright. It's more vibrant.
Well, that's what I'd say for it. I have a positive vibe on it. Really, even though it is shot for shot. It's so close to the original, but at the same time, at least it keeps everything from the original. It doesn't lose too much.
Well, the Mufasa bit's different. I didn't like that either.
And also the
because it didn't say SEX in the sky.
True.
I was waiting for that. I thought, hey, at least they can CGI that bit.
Yeah, true. I didn't see that either. Yeah.
The talking's a bit weird, don't you think?
That's the thing, though. I heard that. So what I was expecting when I was going in was I've seen people saying that, you know, obviously real animals, or closer to looking like real animals talking, was weird, and then especially when they start singing, like what is off-putting. But I didn't find that at all. I thought it was perfectly all quite natural, and the fact that they had it trying to look like real nature. It was just quite nice. It was quite nice to watch, like these moments where they would just go through naturey looking things and birds fluttering about and stuff like that.
Some of it looks when they're running and the camera's out a bit further away, it looks CGI. You can tell that's not. When they come in close, it looks amazing. There's a bit with the dung beetle that looks really good.
Yeah.
And he's just pushing the dung around. You know the bit when Simba's fur has been floating around. That dung beetle just pushing that thing looks amazing. Some of the CGI and the photorealistic stuff looks incredible, and then some of it is just like, you know, it's not real because of the way it kind of does.
Yeah, some of the movements were a bit, because they were shot for shot almost as well. Some of the wrestling movements seemed a bit off. They were just like circling around each other rather than actually fighting. But apart from that, I didn't really have a problem with it.
He falls right at the very end, right? So they went high. So they go to Pride Rock. There's a fire. Him and Scar go even further up. Scar falls off. That's a massive drop. Spoiler alert in the cartoon. It's a massive drop. And he gets up and he just starts walking.
Yeah.
He should have limped.
He should have been injured. Yeah.
He should have been at least limped. Like, I thought, I mean, you've done such a good job in doing this whole world, but he fell from such a distance that if he gets up, he should have limped, at least, tiny limp.
That would explain why he was vulnerable as well at that point. Otherwise, he could have fought his way out. Yeah,
and it doesn't, because he just, if somebody just showed you that clip, you're just like, why didn't he just beat them all up like he's done previously? He should be limping when you. Anyway, I had so many problems with this film. I did not like it.
You had problems because there are minor things in CGI.
It's not minor.
Tiny little things.
I have too much nostalgia feel for the original.
Nobody else noticed.
Yeah, tiny. It is tiny things. To be fair, I was just nitpicking.
But compare it to like Toy Story, the original Toy Story, and the original Nemo that you love.
I love them.
Like how much advanced is it compared to that? It's amazing.
Those are masterpieces. The storyline is incredible. It's an original idea.
But the animation was...
what? Toy Story animation still holds up.
It was groundbreaking at the time, and it's still good.
Still is. I've watched Nemo recently.
You see the kid in Toy Story, it's not on the same level as modern day.
A lion.
Yeah.
A lion walking through the forest.
Yeah, I mean... Well, okay, the other thing I watched this week...
Agree to disagree.
that we won't be talking about is Love, Death and Robots. Did you want to watch that? That's got a lot of CGI in it. Some of it photorealistic humans. But we'll talk about that next.
I don't have a problem with photorealistic. I keep saying, I just have a problem with someone playing with my childhood emotions in that manner.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's always that
nostalgia.
Disappointed because you're so connected and fixated with an original.
Like if I watch the Aladdin remake, because I've never seen the original. Well, I have seen the original, but I never have any nostalgia towards it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could sit there and just enjoy it and ignore the flaws.
Yeah.
My problem here is I love the original too much.
Yeah,
I can't distance myself away from the original Lion King. I also didn't like when they again another nitpicky when they're singing "Can You Feel Love Tonight." It should be Elton John singing that, not Childish Gambino and Beyonce. I know you guys got amazing voices, but it should be Elton John.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, the original music for that was good. Yeah.
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 Anyway, so you've watched Love, Death, which we'll talk about next week.
Yeah. We can say at least that it's varied in its styles, and it's made animation to pretty much all of it. Most of it is animation made for adults.
Yes, so, definitely for adults.
Yeah, that's all we'll say to it, because we're going to talk about it episode to episode next week.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah. Other programs I watched, films. The rest has all been nostalgic, really. I rewatched Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight.
Yes, and you paused it when you saw Jamie Foxx.
Yes, of course. Yes.
That's always.
Yeah. I mean, my DVDs were worn out in the middle where that happens.
Watching them back now, because it's been a while, do they feel longer than you originally remember them? Because I think the first time you watch a film, I remember watching Titanic and the 3 hours whizzed by, but then the next time I could feel myself looking at my watch, even if it's once or twice, but I feel like it's longer.
In some ways. One thing I noticed with Django Unchained was how different I viewed Django, because Django was like the hero. He was obviously the hero throughout, and you see him kicking ass. Yes. But then, the reality when you rewatch it from the beginning is that he's quite simple and uneducated at the beginning, which I didn't really notice before. And then he builds on that. Whereas I had this image of him always as the revenge ass guy. But actually, it's a little bit slower than that.
Yeah, because when they catch the first guy in the bar, he's way out of his depth.
No idea what's going on, does he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, when I watched it the first time, I was the one in the seat, the roller coaster seat, being surprised.
Oh,
So
okay,
I
I'm with you.
guess I didn't notice how surprised he was, maybe. And the other thing, Hateful Eight, is obviously
Yes.
you know what's happening now is always a disappointment in that sense because the whole film is about
The third act.
who's going to be the person. You know there's going to be one traitor at least, and you're
Yep.
always wondering if it's right from the beginning. But once you know which people are not those people, it becomes a lot slower. Yeah, like you say, slower, and it's like, oh, well, I know what's going to happen, so you're no longer on the edge of your seat, even though the music is still absolutely high, tense. So you know you're supposed to feel tense, but it's no longer tricking you because you know what's happening. Yeah.
So might be worth a rewatch.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching.
They're definitely on Netflix, aren't they? So they're worth watching again.
Because you'll always see them in different angles. So yeah, definitely. Other things I've been redoing. I've been, as you know, I lent my PS3, got it back. Someone was playing GTA 5 on it. I lent it out. So I've been playing GTA 5 on PS3.
You own it on PS4. Why?
I've got it on PS4, but I've been playing it on PS3. It looks slightly worse, obviously, because it's PS3, but it's the height of the PS3, so it looks so good still. And I've been playing online, and the fact it's kind of nice going back because they don't have all the updates that PS4 has. So you have the basic original online experience without stunt races so much and all the exploding stuff that like all the new diamond casino stuff and all that expensive stuff. So it's nice actually just to go back and play where there's still a huge amount of people playing the game on PS3 online. So you just get to. It means that my outrun race, which is a basic race around the entire map, and with a few surprises and extra stuff, is appreciated there as well, which is nice because on PS4 everyone's expecting stunt races in the sky where people have put down entire tracks that go in loops and stuff, whereas back there it's just back to racing on an actual road. So that's pretty cool. Other thing I've been playing is Dragon's Crown, which is on PS3, PS4, and PS Vita.
Wow.
That started on PS3, so I've been playing that again because I haven't wanted to pay. It's way too expensive on PS4 and Vita, so I've been playing that. And that Dragon's Crown is, I don't know if I've talked about it before. It's like Golden Axe sort of thing, but just looks gorgeous. It's all hand drawn and just really really nice. Yeah, I'll have to do a review of it sometime, more thorough.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds quite good.
Yeah, apart from that, I've been looking through the PSN deals. There's a summer sale on, but it's only up to 60% savings. So there's loads and loads of deals, but they're kind of not as good as sometimes you get. So I think they're cashing in on the children being off school, hoping they'll just fall for like smaller deals.
Yeah, and they'll release more deals about September time, just before the big games come out. So whenever there's the big launch of the games, like Call of Duty will come out, the new FIFA game comes out, all the films that are like all the games are annual, just pre-Christmas, they'll then have a sale just before that time to try and get people to buy the old games instead of the new stuff, which people are already pre-ordering.
That might be more to look forward to, September sales.
Yeah.
Anything else for you?
I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows. So there's this film made from the director of Thor Ragnarok and Hunt for the Wilder People. It's both great films. So What We Do in the Shadows is like a mockumentary. It follows a group of vampires. The film is amazing. The TV show is really good as well. Some Matt Berry's in it, and some of it's so funny. Some of it's kind of like it's smile funny, and some of it's laugh out loud funny. But it's just a really good watch. It's on BBC iPlayer. There's 10 episodes, so they're not that long, but they are great. And also, I've started watching The Boys, the new Amazon Prime superhero TV show.
Yeah.
So this is based on Gareth Ennis' collection of books. I read the books long time ago. Only the first two books, and a lot of it follows the first two books. And Simon Pegg was originally drawn as one of the characters, Huey.
Okay.
Now that obviously this is turning the TV show, but he's a bit older, he's actually playing Huey's dad in this, which is quite cool. A nice little nod to him.
Yeah.
There's some of the hand-drawn stuff in the comics look amazing. There's this scene with a dog, and he's there's a whole. It's one page. They draw out one page. This smiley, happy dog. It looks amazing. That dog has appeared in the TV show.
Yeah.
But not that picture. And then there's a bit in the comics that always used to stick up my head, which is a bit where Simon Pegg. It may come up in the show, so I don't want to spoil it. Simon Pegg opens the door when Butcher comes to see him, and something's happened to him. But it's so funny when I first read it, so I don't know if that's still going to happen in the show. It's basically the boys are a organization who kind of do not like the superhero movement, and they are out to take down the superheroes and to prove that they're a bunch of frauds and that they cause more harm than good.
Okay, so the anti-kick-ass.
Yes.
Awesome.
And it's really and you know what, for a TV show it looks amazing. So if you watch The Tick, which is also on Amazon Prime, it looks amazing. Tick is really fun, really good.
Okay. It's on Prime, is it? Okay.
And it's on Prime as well, and this is on Prime. And this, you could tell they spent a lot of money. Some of the action sequences are actually really good. There's a bit at the start where this car smashes into a superhero or armored truck, I think it is, but it looks incredible. Yeah, there's so many great cinematic bits in it as well. Well worth a watch.
Sounds good.
And I watched Night School starring Kevin Hart, directed by Michael D. Lee, I think it is. He's the guy who directed Girls Trip, if you ever watched that film, which had Queen Latifah, Jordan Pinkett Smith, and Tiffany. Can't remember her surname, but it was a really, really funny film. That one's such a good film. This one's got Kevin Hart, and it's got some other people, but it's nowhere near as good. It's got Fat Joe, the rapper, in it. Yeah, it's nowhere near as good. There's so many bits where so many jokes just fall flat, I think. And it's disappointing because he had such a good comedy before that. He's also made like The Best Man's Wedding. He's made some other stuff as well, but this one just fell flat for me. Very disappointed. But I still stuck with it till the end.
You're invested in it.
I know. I'm pot committed. I'm about.
And you can't judge it till you've seen the whole thing.
Exactly. You can't stop a film halfway through and say, you know what, that film was rubbish, because sometimes a twist in a film at the very end could save the entire film.
I can pick up as well. It's like halfway through.
Exactly, it can do, because if it's a 2-hour film, it could just be building up to the last, like Avengers. If you say Avengers in Endgame has no action, well, the actual main action happens in the last hour. So you're right in saying there isn't anything in the first 2 hours, but then it ramps up big time. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to change my story for my Endgame. I'm going to say I walked out after 2 hours. No action.
No action. That's your review. There's no action.
No action in this movie. Depressing.
It was depressing. No, it's a great movie.
Depressing.
And also, I've just been watching bits and pieces about kind of like with Endgame coming out on DVD. They've just been releasing snippets about why Scarlet Witch didn't have a funeral at the end of the film. And there's been loads of bloopers that have been coming out. Chris Hemsworth is super funny anyway. Lots of bits with him. There's also explanations on certain things, but at the very start of the film, why they said that Thanos intentionally wanted to die. Spoiler alert. But also, there's all sorts of other bits in there as well that they've been talking about kind of now that the film's out and it's coming on DVD. All sorts of bits as to why they did it in a certain way. So it's quite cool. Yeah,
it's a big film, so that sounds interesting. There must be a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's loads. I mean, it's 3-hour plus film, right? So there's loads. 10 years or 11 years of build up for this one thing.
3-hour plus film, but it's more like 10-hour film condensed into 3 hours. There's so much to get through. That's
it. I've not really played any PlayStation this week. So next segment, my guy previews. What are you going to be up to next week?
I have no idea really. What movies are coming out?
So I'm going to watch Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh yeah,
even though you shitted all over that film.
I might see that. I was I might see it. Yeah.
I think that's the big one. I think next week is Quentin Tarantino's.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got still a week.
14th of August is what I'm waiting for.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're still a week out.
Week or so.
So yeah, so next week for me it's Hobbs and Shaw. Finish The Boys, which would be good. Also, August time in Sky Movies, for anyone with Sky Movies, 2 big films coming out. One is James Wan's Aquaman, and the maybe the best comic book film of all time, or at least definitely of last year, which is saying a lot because last year had Infinity War and had Black Panther.
Yeah.
And it's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. I need to see that.
Those in the US have already got that on their Netflix. Lucky people. So yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Is it coming to Netflix?
I don't know if it is, but it's coming to Sky Cinema for now.
Okay. Unless you have VPN or whatever it is.
Yeah. You got US VPN, then sure. Help yourself.
Goodness, we don't have to sell VPN like everyone else on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. Not that clever.
No offense, VPN.
No, yeah.
Yeah, the only other thing I definitely will be doing next week is rewatching Love, Death and Robots, because I've forgotten it all already, and we're going to talk about it next week. So
yes. And last thing, the Ashes. It's another cricket thing. Starts this week. Because England are cricket champions of the world. So now we're going to go defend the Ashes. It's the next big thing.
Okay.
And the English Barclays Premier League starts as well. It's a football season.
Yeah. And if then it's definitely the end of the world.
Yes.
Signs.
I had a conversation with someone who was trying to tell me it's soccer. I was like, you're born in England. You play with your feet.
It's
called football. Exactly.
Oh, you're American.
Yeah. You're born and raised in this country. It's football.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay, and where can everyone find us? You want to do our plugs?
They can find us everywhere. Twitter.
Yeah.
What's that other one with the pictures? Instagram.
Instagram. Yep.
Obviously, the service that you're using right now, you're listening to us.
That's right.
So, give us 5 stars if you think it's 5-star material.
Yes, on your iTunes.
Email us.
You can, yes. All the links will be below. You've done such a good job.
Oh, yes, below. You know how it is. It's all down there.
It's all down there. So basically, however you get your podcast, review it, give it 5 stars, and then give us some positive critique and tell us why it's so bad. As for contact, you can contact us on myguyReviews@gmail.com. We've got Twitter handle, myguys_reviews. We've also got Instagram account, myguyReviews. And as you said, all the links will be below.
Yeah.
On your
I'll remember that next time you ask me.
I'll ask you every week.
The links will be below.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.